we are joined by Mr. Jim Martin of Company G 506 PIR. Mr. Martin, it is an absolute pleasure to have you on today.
Well, thank you.
Your YouTube page, first off, I want to commend you on embracing technology as well as you have for being a man of 93 years.
Well, I'll have to disabuse you just a little about that. Mr. Barber actually does the Facebook thing. I give him the pictures. I do the talking to him, and then he does the putting it on the Facebook itself. But it's a collaborative effort between the two of us, and I'm amazed and just cannot believe the things that he has been able to do. And I'm pleased that I'm a part of it because for 40 years I did all this just by mail, and now I can reach many more people. And my purpose to do this is not for self-aggrandizement at all. It's to give people a view of history that they otherwise would not have.
The videos that you put up there, I was telling you off air that I am envious of you, as well as I'm a huge fan, because when you took off running last year to run Currahee at the age of 92, you set a pace that I don't think anybody 70 and under could have kept up with.
Well, let me tell you something else that you may not know. Mr. Barber, for dramatic effect, slowed it down to 70%. I was running 30% faster, but he thought it looked better a little slower.
Oh, my goodness.
That's true, and I kind of might hurt his feelings just a little bit, but I've told him that. And he said, well, it makes it look dramatic. And I said, it makes me look like hell. It makes me look like I'm struggling, and I'm not.
To me, it didn't look like you were struggling at all. You were taking serious strides with a purpose, and the feet placement were perfect, and it looked like you were, well, you made it look easy.
I'm not sure of that.
Oh, man. Well, 70th anniversary of the end of the war coming up. The big parties out in Normandy. I know you were there last year, and you jumped for. Was it Jumping for Heroes that you did that, or you just went over there and jumped?
It was not scripted or anything. It just did it. And the guy that I was attached to, he's had over 8,200 jumps, and he's a marvelous person. Personally, I liked him very much. And some reporter asked me, aren't you kind of worried about this? And I said, hell no. Look at that guy. Do you think he's going to let anything happen to me? And I said, if it does, he's going with me too. And I said, I'll paraphrase something that Hillary said. At this point in life, if something happens and I get hurt or killed, what the hell difference does it make?
That's words to live by, my friend. Words to live by. And I think if everybody had that attitude, regardless of how old they were, that we would probably get a lot more done.
You're right. Don't quit just because you get old. The clock doesn't rule your life. Moderation in everything. Moderation in eating, moderation in your attitude. Keep a good attitude every day. Get up every day and greet the dawn with a forward-looking attitude. Don't ever get down. Don't ever think you can't do something because you're too old. At least try.
That's inspiring words.
Now, I gotta tell you, my uncle, my dad's brother, he passed away a few years ago. But I just found out this afternoon when I was going over his military records, he was with you guys at the Battle of the Bulge, and he actually got injured. He was wounded at the very last day, January 25th, 1945, the last day of that battle, when the German lines got pushed back. That's when his tank got hit. But he was there, and I wish I would have had the wherewithal as a young man to ask him about his time during the war, but I never took the opportunity, and I never felt... I don't know. I guess I never felt right asking him about that because I knew how much my mom's dad didn't want to talk about it.
Well, that's the thing that a lot of people have asked me about over the years. Said my dad or my uncle or whoever never talked about it, and they thought it was because it was too horrible. And I said, I'll tell you something, my feeling about this, and I've talked to it among our people. It's not that at all. We came back from the war, and we were concerned with getting a house, getting married, and having a family. Now, in my case, along my road, all of us that came built our own houses. My wife and I have built, and all of them on our road, we all did our own work. We didn't hire anybody for anything, and that we were too busy with all of that. And then the other thing is, after all that, we came back. What's the point of talking to people that can't really understand it? And most people aren't articulate enough to do it in a way that the ordinary people can understand it, so they just don't talk about it.
There seem to have been three different types of gentlemen that came back from the war as veterans, ones that were willing to talk about it, ones that weren't, and like my grandfather, ones that couldn't and tried to kill the pain with a bottle. And unfortunately, too many of our veterans to this day still take option number 3.
Well, you're right about that. You are absolutely right about that. But the percentage of people who came back from World War II, overall the Army had about 8% that had that kind of problem. The parachutists and the other berets and all those kind of people, that was about 2%. So I don't understand why we have 25% now over there. It's a different ball game, and I don't quite understand all of it, but I have to accept that it's real. But I'll tell you this. There were things that happened on both sides, atrocities. History has always been written by the winner, and usually nothing comes in about what the other side did. But we were told they were going to kill all the prisoners, and they were told we were going to kill all the prisoners, and that made Normandy a barbaric type of war, more so than any other. Some company commanders really went at it with the people. Some didn't approve of it at all, and they had to tolerate it because there was no other choice. My company, all my company officers were the ones who did not want to do things wrong. But I will say that the Geneva Convention, the only thing that people abided by was name, rank, and serial number. And there were atrocities on both sides, really bad. But I will not apologize for any of what happened, and nobody that wasn't there has a right to criticize because they have no idea what happened.
I mean, you guys went into a situation, you did what you had to do, and those that were lucky enough came home, and we, praise the ones that were left behind.
You're right about that, and I have often said publicly in meetings that those of us who went and came home had the greatest experience that we could ever have in our lifetimes, and it will never happen again in that manner. And for those who lost loved ones, there is nothing that will ever give any kind of closure. It's always there.
Now, I wanted to ask you, if I could, Jim, about April of this year. You're going to be representing the veterans in the 70th anniversary commemorations in the Netherlands, aren't you?
Yes, that's correct. Well, I really don't know exactly what they've planned. They've just told me I'm going to be the representative. Now, I want you to understand that this is symbolic. It could take anybody from any service and do it. Somebody just happened to think of me, and I'm going over there, and I'm going to do my best to represent my group. And if things go right, there are people over there trying to arrange a jump for the 17th of September. So we'll see how that turns out. Well, I'll do that one on 100. I don't think I'll feel any different. I don't feel old at all unless I look in the mirror. I don't have any aches or pains or anything like that. And I still run, and I still do all the things I did. And, I thank God for all of that and the way I've lived, and also probably my background, the genes from whoever my forebears were. I'm very fortunate, and I'll take it as long as it comes, but there are no guarantees. Anything can happen to anybody at any time. So take what's there while it's there.
That's absolutely amazing. Where do we? How would? Are you going to be filming the jump on the 17th, and are you going to be posting that as well?
If that jump happens, yes, it will be.
Oh,
Mr. Barber will do the filming, and it'll be put up just like all the rest of it. This is all a collaborative effort. I do the talking, and I speak to him, and he puts it down as I've said it on Facebook.
Sure.
He does all the technical work, which I think he's very marvelous at. And I'm really happy that everybody gets to see what he does.
You're easy to find on the internet. You're all over it, and you have a YouTube channel as well.
I'm a little embarrassed by it because it's making me look better than I really am. And you've got to understand, I'm only one small person, and a lot of the people in my unit did a lot more than I did, so that's kind of embarrassing.
I want to know how you got the nickname.
Because if you'll check the records, I weighed 106 pounds when I enlisted, and that's how I got that. Now, I got up to 134, and I carried that all through it until the last months of the war, and on my discharge, it says I weighed 109 pounds when I got out. That came about because when we were up there in Austria, there was a group of officers and enlisted men who were stealing our food, and they took it over the Brenner Pass and sold it on the black market in Italy. And some of the guys induced me to go over to the medics, and they said, "You look as bad as the guys in Landsberg. Tell them what's going on." And I did. Now, I don't know whether it was what I said or whether an investigation was already ongoing, but shortly after that is when they caught up with these guys, and a lot of them went to prison. But when I got out, within a month, I was back up to 134.
That's absolutely amazing. I guess ironic nicknames hadn't made a showing yet. Otherwise, you would have just been called Fatty.
Well, right now I weigh 116. I had some prostate trouble and several operations, and I lost from 134 down to 110, and I've got over 13 years I've got a few pounds back, so I weigh 116 now.
Well, you look absolutely fantastic, and I'm glad that you don't prescribe to St. Gregory's calendar, keeping track of the years as they while away, and you're doing what you love doing, and you keep doing it, because you are by far one of the most inspirational people we've had on in a really long time here.
No, thank you. I appreciate that, but as I said, I feel rather humbled and embarrassed at all the attention, because I don't feel special at all, and we got a lot of other people who've done a lot more than I have, and but I'm thankful that the history is out there where people can see it, and they can also take pride in the fact that if any one of them want to do something like I've done and others of my unit have done, just live a moderate life. Keep your mind occupied. Do something besides sit around and feel sorry for yourself.
Oh, words to live by, my friend. Words to live by.
Yeah, thank you for your inspiration, and thank you for your service.
You're most welcome. That also is an obligation we have in a free country. If when your country calls, you go.
I wish more people had that attitude today.
Well, I wish our president did.
Yeah, there is that. I'm not a big fan of anything that goes on in the District of Columbia.
I'm not either.
They seem to have taken everything and got it wrong again. I don't know how they can keep doing that.
Well, they get into that lifestyle, and it's a different planet. It's like they're on a different planet altogether than we are.
That's true. I mean, I'm from Kansas, and we got a state senator who hasn't lived there for 38 years. How does that work?
That's the way it is. And when the First Lady says she feels sorry for the people and sympathizes about getting a babysitter because she has the same problem, I kind of raise my eyebrows a little bit.
Yeah, I don't understand how she can have the same problem when I'm guessing we're paying a Secret Service guy just about the same amount to stand there.
Yeah.
It's like, can't you just give him an extra $250 on his paycheck and call it babysitting cash?
I'll tell you what. Don't get me started.
Mr. Martin, I can't tell you how happy I am that we were able to talk with you today, and I wish you Godspeed to the Netherlands, and hopefully we'll have a new video of another jump that you do, and thank you so much, not only for your service to this country, but for your continued health and inspiration, because without men like you, kids today wouldn't know anything about what happened.
Well, thank you for the opportunity for people to be able to know whatever goes on.
If possible, when you get back, maybe we could do this again and talk about the jump.
Sure, absolutely.
Oh, I would love nothing more than that. I'll keep your number, and we'll stay in touch. And I've joined your Facebook page, and me and Doug can talk through there, and we'll see if we can't make something happen come September.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
All right, thank you, Mr. Martin. We appreciate it.
Yeah, bye now.
Bye now.
Okay, bye now.
Oh my God, I am on the verge of emotional wreckage right now. Just thinking about the 93 years he's put in on this planet, and how 4 of them were spent overseas on the beaches and in the forests and doing all of the the right stuff.
And he doesn't complain.
No, and that's the thing. And he tells everybody else not to complain.
Black Sky.